I'm live. I'm back with you all. It's been a minute, right? It has. Trust and believe. Every time I take a hiatus and I just up and go missing, just know that I'm getting download after download after download after download. And yeah, I definitely got quite a lot. I went from saying that, my readings were not focusing on twin flames to, just focusing on abundance. But when I tell y'all, it's just, man, I could be here all day, basically. I could be out here all day talking about what has transpired in my own personal life since my last reading, what downloads I've gotten. But I'm just going to say this: I'm called to read these cards. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to read these cards. And I'm going to read them for whatever I'm called to read them for. I can't be concerned with how people may abuse tarot or misuse tarot in terms of, following it to their own detriment. I can't be responsible for that. You know what I mean? I just have to follow what it is that I'm called for because that blocks up my vessel. But enough of that. This reading is about the divine feminine and what the divine feminine is destined to learn here in Mercury retrograde. Y'all know about those lessons we have to revisit while we're going through Mercury retrograde. So this reading is about, what lessons there are for the divine feminine. So we're going to get on ahead into it. Thank you, God, for ordering my steps, for your spirit pouring forth the words from my mouth. Thank you for giving me a message that hits the divine feminine, only the divine feminine. Jesus' name. Those two came out. Oh, this is a victory. It's a victory over something, an ideology, a certain behavior, a certain way of thinking that has held you back for quite a while. It's a victory. It's something that you've been fighting. I mean, you probably already know what I'm talking about. Some type of way of thinking. And it has come up. It has come up recently as of late. If it has not come up, then it's going to come up for you soon. But I'm really feeling like it's already come up for the divine feminine that I'm speaking to. There's just a certain way of thinking that has probably always troubled you. You try to walk away from it and it continues to plague you. It could be insecurities, it could be doubt, it could be fear. There are a lot of different things that could be the case here, but it's a victory. There's a victory coming up for you, divine feminine. Let me get logged into the room so I can make sure that my audio is audible. But yeah, divine feminine, you're defeating something. You're victorious in something, and also when you defeat this way of thinking, you come out fruitful. So whatever it is that you are tackling, it's been holding you up. In this case, the divine partnership or wherever you exercise your divinity in your life. Divine feminine is not just in the arena of relationships. Wherever you exercise your divinity in your life, some things could have been held back from you, but I feel like you'll have a victory in terms of your thinking. I think that you are learning to open yourself up to giving more. Like for a lot of divine feminine, it's like sometimes we become enslaved to our bodies. We become indebted to our bodies. We become an employee of our 3D selves. And that's how I feel with that knight card there. The knight being someone who is employed to carry out a mission. So we get so ingrained into our physical bodies that we forget a lot about our spiritual selves. So things that may offend you in your physical body, things that may make you uncomfortable in your physical body, sometimes they can be crippling. They can actually be crippling, and they can cause you to lose sight of your spiritual self. You can get your emotions out of whack. That Queen of Cups is upside down. Your emotions can get out of whack. People can say things to you, and if it triggers something in your 3D, let's say, I'm thinking this specific example was given to me by spirit. Let's say you were like molested when you were a child, and then you get older, and in relationships you are very closed off. You don't really hug people, you don't really touch people, and you are kind of exempting yourself, or you are excluding yourself, quarantining yourself from affection that you truly do want and need. And it's because, you know, you're just a slave to that trigger in the 3D. So I think these cards are saying, like, you get so caught up in your body, or you have been getting so caught up in your body or in the 3D triggers from your past, things that happen to you in your 3D, that you forget your spiritual mission, and that you get away from what it is that you're really here to do. I love you too, baby. I can't make any promises. I can't make any promises. I have a lot going on, but tarot is definitely. I feel like you're tired of it. You're tired of, yeah, setting yourself apart from the yeah. So something that triggered you before, that something that a person may have done, I think you'll realize that it was never meant to be malicious. They never really meant to hurt you. Rating in Scorpio. So yeah, like with your divine counterpart, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Let me turn my volume up so I can see if I can hear myself. With this camera and this streaming. I don't know. And my internet or whatever it is. I don't know. Problems. But in terms of your connections, your involvement in your, divine counterpart, divine union, the thing that would be holding you back is something that it triggers you. I'm feeling this sexual energy. I think that's because of the Scorpio Mercury energy, but it's coming back around. Like, let's say that example again, you were molested, you've kind of closed yourself off, you become a victim of your 3D body, you were holed up in your own body, you wear big clothes, you don't want to show your body, you don't want anyone to see your body, you don't even feel in touch with your body in terms of the divine feminine. If you are like naturally a woman, you may not, you may like despise your menstrual cycle. Like, you don't like when your period's on, because you find it icky instead of finding it something to be mystical and magical and divine. You find it icky instead of finding it something to be mystical and magical and divine. There's just a lot of things that I'm feeling here. Is like an ideology stuck within yourself, and you need to fight to get out of that in order to have victory in your relationship. Because right now you're carrying a lot of the burden. You carry a big load on yourself, and it is due to something that really should not be. It really shouldn't be such an issue. You get what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like, let's say your divine counterpart, or even a friend or something, they're talking about, how sometimes you can have girl talk with a friend, or if you're talking to like a crush or the person you're in a relationship with, they can tell you something that turns them on. Like a crush or the person you're in a relationship with, they can tell you something that turns them on, and that is like an aphrodisiac to them, and you feel triggered. Like, hey, let's say someone says, I like big lips, and you'll find yourself triggered because maybe people used to pick on you when you were young, and you find a way to turn it to be like a racial type of thing. Like, you people claim that they like big lips, but they don't like the black people that have big lips. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll take something so simple out of whack, completely out in left field, because it's a trigger to you. So that's something that is coming up for you in this Mercury retrograde. And just get an additional message about that, because I feel like these cards really did kind of set out the general message that's happening here. Just gonna maybe dig in a little bit deeper, and then we'll be heading on out. Okay, so we have the Six of Wands and the Page of Cups. I think you will really get into this energy of just learning to submit and learning to allow, learning that you don't have to champion for your cause. You don't have to be like this justice warrior when there's really no justice to be fought for, when it's really a personal issue that you need to kind of heal from. I do see you gaining victory over the situation. And I already said that there'd be a victory in it. And when I say that, you'll be a lot more fruitful. You'll have more harmonious communication with people. You'll have a more harmonious, a more in sync connection with your divine counterpart, because they don't feel like they have to hide things from you anymore. The Page of Cups is like, well, I'm kind of slow to give. I'll only give you a little bit. And I feel like a lot of times they're only giving you a little bit because they may be afraid of your reaction. They may be afraid of how you may explode when they tell you how they feel, or when they tell you what they want. So just kind of chill maybe a little bit. I don't mean to, like, because I don't like when people tell me to chill when I'm in my bag. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like maybe things aren't as harsh as you try to make them seem. Maybe those triggers are not as big. Yeah, like, look, it's overkill. You feel what I'm saying? Like the Ten of Swords, that's overkill. It's just sometimes it's kind of just doing too much. The Page of Swords on that bottom part, on that bottom there, is like you kind of just looking for issue. The real issue is vulnerability. This is at the bottom of the deck, the Star card. That's the real issue. Like, you're gonna have to get down and get naked. You're gonna have to get out of your body, because you need to defeat that. You need to defeat that looking for issue where there really is none, so that you can have that. So that you can have the Ten of Pentacles within your Two of Cups relationship. And we have the Two of Cups appearing here twice. So yeah, this is the divine counterpart, kind of backing up the message. Like, I mean, yeah, the divine counterpart is showing up here in this message. Like, tell her, please tell her, Empress, tell her, or tell my divine feminine that, I don't mean to hurt her. I'm not out to say anything that offends her. I'm not trying to, make her feel uncomfortable. It's just, I need to have a certain degree of transparency. I need to be able to, speak on, maybe my fetishes, or I need to speak on my wants or my needs, or the things that turn me on, or the things that make me feel fulfilled within the relationship. I need to express what my love language is. And I don't want it to offend her, because I'm not intentionally trying to cause problems with my divine feminine. It's just, what I'm saying, that's what I like. And I mean, if she's not with it, there's a way to express that without being confrontational. So I just kind of want divine feminine to get that message here within the Mercury retrograde. Our universal oracle says, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. And that's really what has to go on here. Like, you have to love yourself enough to realize that anything that may have happened in your past that triggers you, it wasn't necessarily your fault, but it is something that you chose when you decided to incarnate into this life. I'm not saying you chose to have somebody rape you, but you chose to have experiences that would build you into the type of person that you are becoming. And unfortunately, when we come into the earthly realm, we are also kind of at the mercy of other co-creators. So if another person did something to harm you, that's your reality that they were creating that just happened to bump into your reality. And I'm sorry for that. But don't lose sight of the fact that you chose a certain path here in the earthly realm so that you could become who you are becoming. And this Mercury retrograde is really digging deep. It's really getting some issues that may hit you in a very sensitive and a very private place, so that you can overcome them and be more fruitful in your relationships. Okay. Because at the bottom it says, oneness is my true nature. You want to be at, in unison. You feel what I'm saying? You want to be one with your counterpart. And having these triggers, it causes division, and you don't want that. So just work on that, divine feminine. I absolutely love you. Love you, love you, love you so much. I apologize that my connection isn't as good as I want it to be. I am living out in West Bumblefuck. I am in the country, excuse my French. But yeah, I'll be back to do a divine masculine. So I hope you enjoy this. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.